Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're going to be taking a look at r/surviving infidelity, where a daughter exposes her mother's darkest secret. Let's begin. My beloved wife cheated on me, and my daughter isn't mine. How can I move on, as well as shake these angry feelings? Posted by Reddit user awaythrox1x.
This is gonna be a long one. My wife and I were married for 21 years. I figured it was one of those miracle marriages because we barely argued, seemed we'll always be the best of friends, etc. Well, our 15-year-old daughter received a 23andMe thing for her birthday from a friend. And of course, it said we weren't related. She had me do a swab as well as her mother and her 14-year-old brother. Only her brother and I seemed to be related. So, I did a paternity test afterwards, and lo and behold, she wasn't my fucking child. My ex-wife cried and pleaded for me to hear her out, but I just went numb to her. It would be one thing to cheat, but to find out the light of my life isn't even to related to me, it killed me. Don't get me wrong, I love my daughter with all of my heart. She's still my daughter no matter what. But what's scaring me most is my seemingly vindictive desires. I've never been like this, and I know it's out of anger, but I want her to suffer so bad. The kids absolutely hate her. Which on one end helps that desire, but I know that deep down, she is still their mother, and I don't really want them to hate her. Her parents and siblings all are mortified at her. Her sister hasn't spoken to her in a couple months. We all grew up together, so it hit hard for everyone. Again, this makes me feel great, which in turn scares me, because I don't actually want her life to go into shambles. But I can't help to feel euphoric when I learn something in her life is falling apart. Both children are living with me, as they don't view their mother in a favorable light at all right now. I'm thinking about having the talk about them going to talk to her, because as of now, they refuse. The part that breaks my heart the most is that my daughter seems to be overcompensating her roles of a daughter. She makes sure to tell me how much she loves me and is, in essence, being the perfect daughter. But I can tell it's because she knows that she isn't biologically mine, but she desperately wants me to know how much she values me. I'm actually going to talk to her tonight about that. To tell her that she doesn't have to act differently. I just really want to know how to shake the sadness and angry vindictive feelings. I want to move forward as well as help my children move forward so they can worry about school and being teens. Please, any advice will help. TLDR, wife of 21 years cheated on me, and my 15-year-old daughter isn't mine. I've been having sadistic and vindictive feelings towards her, and I want to put those away as well as help my children move past it as well.
OP. You and your children need therapy ASAP. Having said that, let me offer you my point of view based on my own experience. Kids don't care about biology. Your daughter will always see you as her father, but she might be worried about you leaving her, as I'm sure she's picking up on your anger you have towards her mother. She might be wishing she could never see her mother again, and then making the jump to assuming you are having similar thoughts. And now, she thinks you would act on them because she isn't your daughter. You absolutely need to reassure her that you are her father, and she will always be your daughter. I'm not at all surprised about your anger towards your wife. She lied to you, manipulated you into raising another man's kid, betrayed your trust over and over again. If I were you, I will embrace that need for vengeance. I would do everything in my power to make sure her life goes down the shitter. Your wife not only stole 21 years of your life, but caused both of your children a massive amount of trauma. She needs to pay for all of the pain she caused and for her own selfish actions. Assuming that you are in the United States of America, my understanding is that 14 is the age at which most courts will start to take the child's opinion under consideration. You should be consulting your lawyer. You have one, right? If you do, you should ask them about how you should be handling the children with regards to seeing their mother. In my opinion, you should be assuring the children that if they want to see their mother, that you will understand and not hold it against them, because that's what a reasonable person would do. But if they do the exact opposite of that, cutting their mother off entirely from their lives, then you should give equal respect to that decision as well. Absolutely do not force them to interact with their mother if they don't want to. Otherwise, they will start to resent you too. Don't rush yourself to move on, just one day at a time. That's how the hurt and anger will go away. You just have to distract yourself until enough time has passed. Now, let's listen to OP's first update.
For some clarification, we did talk about it, and it was in the fair. I just didn't want to write that part out because it physically makes me shake with anger to talk about it. My daughter and I are both in therapy. I am taking the advice of my therapist and the many commenters on my last post, and I'm not going to force my kids to talk to their mother. They are old enough to understand the gravity of the situation and have their own feelings about it. Because of this, they will need to take their own time gathering up how they feel and dealing with it, with any help they need from me, of course. The pain my daughter is going through seems to have healed somewhat. I've gotten her to fully believe that my love for her will never change and that she will always be my daughter. Her pain seems not to be about our relationship anymore, but her newly found trust issues and trauma from the family being broken apart. She's also confided in me that she feels like it's all her fault and that if she never brought the kid home, the family would still be together. I hugged her and let her know that none of this was her fault and that she was only looking to do something fun with the family. She had no idea what would happen and that she should never blame herself. I've had one conversation with my soon-to-be ex-wife in which she begged and pleaded with me to forgive her and that she would cherish me for the rest of her life. She said it was stupid, it meant nothing, and that she regrets it 100%. She also said that she believes our love can withstand it. I told her that if our love was that strong, she wouldn't have felt the need to find sexual comfort in someone else. She is currently staying with her parents. I've communicated with her sister, and apparently, she's borderline suicidal. They are trying to get her help, but she refuses, as the only thing she wants to do is see me and the children. Because of this, I'm waiting to serve her the divorce papers. I don't want to add on any more things to destroy her mental health. I've brought up talking to her with my son and daughter, to which they adamantly refused. I am going to respect their wishes and give them their own time to cope. I have this nagging feeling that she does not actually care about how it made any of us feel and that she only cares about the fact that she's about to lose her picture-perfect family and the comfortable life that we had and that it's her fault. I have no desires to try to fix the relationship and move forward.
Let's forget about the sexual comfort part and just focus on the fact that she had unprotected sex, bore another man's child to term, and had OP raise her affair baby unknowingly. Even if you could dismiss the sex, how could that conceivably mean nothing? It meant nothing. That line right there just bothers me to no end because it's just so fucked up. Let me get this straight, okay? OP's soon-to-be ex-wife destroyed her family over nothing? What? She destroyed all the love and trust that has built up over 2 decades, knowingly let a man raise a child that wasn't his, and she did it over nothing? Her marriage and relationship with the kids was worth destroying over nothing? Just what kind of fucked up person would even consider doing that? OP valued that love, but his soon-to-be ex-wife didn't. She wanted the thrill of having sex with another dude without a condom and got pregnant. She might have known it was the other man's kid, or maybe she didn't. It depends on the timeline of the affair. But she actually thought her husband will never find out as she made sure to clean her tracks perfectly. But unfortunately for her, she didn't account for her daughter doing a DNA test for fun and discovering that they're just an affair baby. All the pain this kid's mother put her through were all because she had an affair that meant nothing, which might include her daughter. OP is right. This woman only cares about the picture-perfect family and the comfy life that OP provides her. Now, I guess let's just move on to the final chapter of this rage-inducing trilogy. Shall we?
It's been a long while, so I figured I'd give you guys a one last update. My daughter is doing a lot better. Our relationship seems to actually have gotten stronger since this whole thing. And it's not even an act. We hang out more and have a lot of heart-to-heart talks. She went to her mother's parents' house to see her mother. From what I heard, she mostly just talked to her grandparents and didn't say much to her mom. My son is also doing fine. His experience is different from my daughter's because he actually is my child. He's still angry at his mom for betraying me, but he's coming around and talked to her more when they went to visit her. He's still hesitant because he's a protective little brother and hates that his sis felt awful. I actually give him credit for keeping her sane. He talked to her, went on walks with her, and he didn't give up on her. I told him I was proud of him for sticking by her side. I also talked to him about how he feels because I realized that during all of this, I kind of dismissed him since he was my bio child. But he's going through his stuff too, and we have many talks now, and he's in individual counseling. As for my wife, I tried to do marriage counseling to see if there was any hope. I tried to believe her that it was only an affair and that she didn't know she was carrying his child. But it didn't work out. I couldn't look at her or speak to her in marriage counseling, and when I did say something, it was just about how bad it made me feel. She would sob and beg on her knees, but it didn't change anything. I couldn't believe that she'd never cheated again, and I believe she knew it wasn't my child, but just chose me because I was the safest bet. I'd been played like a fool, and I'm done with it. I served her at her parents' house, and she flew into hysterics. She screamed at the top of her lungs on the ground. I couldn't understand a word she was saying, but I just felt numb to it. Her mother tried to beg me to forgive her, but her father just walked me out to the front and without saying a word, gave me a firm handshake and nod with a face that said, "I understand completely." We got into contact with my daughter's her bio dad and got his medical info. She said she doesn't want anything to do with him because she already has a dad. I'm not gonna try to talk her out of it either. Though, I have a fear that she'll want to contact him one day and become very close with him and that I'll fade out. But I try to push that to the back of my mind and only let it out during individual counseling. That's where we are now. Me and the kids are trying our best to push through. This will most likely be the last update unless something big happens, which I doubt. Thank you to everyone who helped me and checked up on me. I really appreciate all the help and advice.
Thank God that OP finally divorced that woman. Besides the affair, paternity fraud is really one of the worst things you could do to anyone. You're just hurting and ruining the lives of other people. Only a true piece of shit human being would do that. OP's ex-wife showed malicious intent and no remorse whatsoever. Never take back a cheater. Never believe anything they said. Getting burned once is enough to not touch her ever again. It's only logical. OP was smart to not have her around him ever again. In regards to OP's daughter, don't worry, OP. You'll never fade out. You've been there too long. You know her too well. She trusts you entirely. It doesn't mean she won't one day get curious. Maybe she will, maybe she wouldn't. It's her decision to make. But for her, in her mind and in her heart, you will always be her father. Because you were always there for her, especially when she needed you the most. So please, don't take it too harshly if one day she does get curious. It's only natural. It's genetics. But it doesn't even come close to replacing the love and nurturing that you've given. Good luck, OP. Do your best. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. And if you really like it, make sure to subscribe to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.